Our next unit is going to be a unit that deals with angles. So today's lesson is designed to be a quick introduction to some very basic things that you should know about an angle that is going to come up with a lot of the other lessons that we're going to do as we track through the chapter and learn more about angles and things you can do with angles. So the very first thing, if we're going to talk about angles, is mathematically, what is an angle? So you've got a picture of an angle sitting in your notes diagram. So an angle looks like this. There's some vocabulary that goes with an angle. So an angle has what are called two rays. So they look like lines, but they're actually not lines. They are rays. The difference between a line and a ray, if you look, a ray has an arrow on, just one end. So you can see the arrow on one end. So a line goes both ways. So a line extends two directions. A ray extends one direction, so it just ends. It has an end point, so it doesn't go the other way. So an angle is made up of two rays. So that is called a ray. So an angle has two rays. And where those rays meet, so that is the end point of both rays. So both rays meet up or they end in the same spot. So that ending spot makes up kind of the middle of the angle. So that is what we call the vertex of an angle. So an angle is always made up of two rays, and where they meet or where they come together, that kind of point of the angle is called the vertex of the angle. So as we go through the chapter, you might hear some things that talk about the rays in the angle or the vertex of an angle. So those are the parts of the angle that's referring to. So you should know that basic angle vocabulary. The second idea for today, it's a very quick introduction to angles. We like nice, short, quick lessons. Those are a good thing. Are some different basic types of angles that you should be aware of because they're really helpful when you are calculating. So we measure angles in degrees. So angles are measured in degrees. So I want you to add that in. And this is something that we're going to talk more about tomorrow, because tomorrow we're going to actually learn how to measure an angle. So angles are measured in degrees. So if you were to go all the way around a circle, so a full circle, a lot of you guys probably know this, is 360 degrees all the way around. So we can measure angles based off of basically how much of a circle that angle takes up. So an angle that measures 90 degrees, so 90 degrees is 1/4 of a circle, so it would look like that. So that opening of the angle is 1/4 of the way around the circle. So that is a right angle. And right angles, something else you should know about with a right angle has a special symbol. So if an angle is a right angle, if it's exactly 90 degrees or 1/4 of a circle, you'll see a little box drawn in the corner of that angle. So that box is a right angle symbol. And it means that the angle is exactly 90 degrees. Now, from there, we can take our angle, our right angle, and we can make it a little bit smaller. So if I take my angle, and rather than making it go straight up and down a right angle, I'm going to bring it in and I'm going to make it a little bit smaller than that. So now that angle is less than 90 degrees, smaller than 90 degrees. So if I make it less than 90 degrees, it's not a right angle anymore because it's not 90 degrees. It's smaller than that. So anything that's smaller than 90 degrees or less than 1/4 of a circle is called an acute angle. I can also do the opposite of that. So I can take my 90-degree angle, so that would be kind of my 90-degree angle, and I can open it up and I can make it bigger than that. So if I make my angle go like this, that angle is now more than 1/4 of a circle. It's bigger than 90 degrees or more than 90 degrees. So anything that's more than a 90-degree angle is an obtuse angle. So some people have a hard time remembering acute and obtuse, so you do need to tell the difference between those. So acute is little, obtuse is big. So that's one thing, just to make sure that you're not getting those two things confused. And then there's one last type of angle that you're going to need to know about, because it's going to come up with some other lessons that we're going to do. So 1/4 of a circle is a 90-degree angle. I could also make an angle that is the equivalent of 1/2 of a circle. So if I were to go halfway around a circle, then my angle would look like this. So my angle looks like it's laying flat. So you can still see the two rays and the vertex, but it's been kind of flattened out, so it looks like a straight line. So halfway around a circle is 180 degrees. And this one's easy to remember, because when you flatten the angle out like that, it makes it look like a straight line. Because it looks like a straight line, we call it a straight angle. So that is the basics that you should know, because these things are going to come up in some of our other lessons. So you should know the vocabulary and be able to recognize a right angle, an acute angle, an obtuse angle, and a straight angle. And you should also know your basic angle vocabulary. An angle is made up of a vertex where two rays connect together. At this point, your notes outline should be filled in. We did add a couple of extra things into your notes. So we added in right here the difference between a line and a ray, and we also added in a little blurb about measuring angles in degrees. So both of those things that I just boxed in red should also be added in with the rest of your notes. So your notes should look exactly like what is on my screen. You should also have your diagrams filled in. If you do not have your diagrams, oops, sorry about that. If you do not have your diagrams, then you need to make sure you fill your diagrams in as well. So all of those circled extra pieces should also be filled into your notes. So if you need to add any of those in, go back and add those in now. And when your notes look like my notes, then you are done and you can move on and try the practice.